Hello, everyone. It's a really, really nice day here in Mumbai. And we're here not to talk about too much. Not too much is happening with Spurs, but we're here anyway. If y'all want to talk about football, and especially in this little mini break that we've got because the Chelsea game was postponed. Not gonna lie, I'm happy that got postponed. But that means that we don't have our favorite Ange Ball for a little while. So unfortunately, we just gotta deal with the withdrawal symptoms. So we're here for you if you're wanting some a fix during the withdrawal symptoms. And with me, I have the absolute bestest, mostest co-host Chang from Malaysia. Because this is Thoughts from Asia with me and Chang. And Chang, how you feeling?
I'm feeling very good today. If I'll be perfectly honest, I've completely gotten that disappointing result against Wolves completely out of my system, and I was feeling rather jovial and happy this morning when I did a very early morning members call-in show for Talk and Ball with Mr. Severs, Senor Garcia. I believe there was uh, David Shear was on as well as Leo from Mile High Hotspur. So yes, the day started off well, and some 12 hours later, here I am again with you. When I'm really looking forward to whatever it is that you have in store for us and the viewers who are either watching live now or in playback. For any newcomers here to El Tel Cockerel's channel, it would really help him and us a lot if you were to leave a like for the video and subscribe as well to El Tel Cockerel whenever you're able to.
Yeah, absolutely, everyone. Please subscribe to Eltel. It do us a huge favor. Also, because we do this show alternatively on Talking Ball and Eltel, you wouldn't ever miss a show from us. So if you want to continue listening to us, uh, you should definitely subscribe to Eltel. Um, uh, and talking about subscribers, Tequila's here saying, "I'm told I have to type hashtag Mia Raid." Oh, thanks, Mia. That's amazing. Thank you for sending some people our way. Um, and Rob Belcher is here saying hashtag Mia Raid. Um, so great, Mia's big up Spurs between the lines. They just had their fan show, I think. So amazing. Thank you so much, Mia. That's you're doing us a huge solid here on LTEL. So and everyone else who's tuned in from a Mia Raid, please do subscribe if you like the content. So let's just get into it. Yeah. Not much to talk about, but whatever little there is to talk about. Uh, we're gonna talk. We're gonna start talking about this. I'm gonna read out the statement that Sunny made, and then Chang, you can tell me how you feel about it. So Sunny,
Sure.
I love Sunny. Like the statement is amazing. He says, "Hello, this is Hyungmin Sun. Going to talk a little scary and difficult today. Kangin sincerely reflected on himself and apologized to all the players on the team, including me. When I was young, I made a lot of mistakes and looked bad, but I think I can be uh, where I am now because of the warm advice and teachings of good seniors. We will take special care of Kangin to ensure that Kangin does not do this wrong thing again, so that all of us players can grow as a senior and a captain of the national team. I also did well for my actions. I think it was an act that could be envied enough without thinking. However, I am of the opinion that it is one of the essence of the claim to act like that for the team. Sorry, this is translated, so some of the sentences are a little weird. So I will act for the team even if I am put in the same situation again. But from now on, I will try to understand my teammates more wisely more wisely. And then he goes on to say, Kangen is having a hard time after that work. Forgive me with uh, I think the
With a
translation is wrong
grudge.
here. Forgive me, without a grudge for once.
Mm.
Uh, as captain of the team, I'm asking you to do this. And among the stories that come from one side, the content of the team's convenience is irrelevant. And we've always tried to look at one place as a team. Although football is loved a lot, we sincerely apologize for causing such a fuss, and we will work harder to make our Korean national team grow more this season. Uh, Once again, as a captain of the Korean national team, I sincerely apologize. Heung-min Son. So, Chang, how do you feel about this?
There are actually two ways of looking at this from a very neutral and objective point of view, and then from the point of view of the Korean national team as well as their fans. From our neutral point of view as Spurs fans and not really Korean fans, this looks more like a blanket apology, not just only for the bust up between Sun Heung-min and the Korean national players and Lee Kang-in that led to him dislocating a finger and South Korea getting dumped out of the Asian Cup by Jordan in the semi-finals that took place. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. So the blanket apology, as I was mentioning earlier, is more it's trying to make up for the disappointing loss and trying to justify why the team felt very unbalanced, a bit unsettled going into that semi-final where you don't really see a sort of teamwork and togetherness among the Korean players. But the other way of looking at it from a Korean perspective, whether you're one of the players or from a fan's point of view, the Korean citizens' point of view, this sort of thing, whereby one player or rather one party, in which case Sun Heung-min, the club captain, he issues this sort of statement as a sort of like a companion or a counter reply to Lee Kang-in's own official statement that came from his camp, as a way of trying to not put too much attention on the happenings behind the scenes that led to all these things coming out in the media and with both parties having to come up with their own personal statements, but more of a sense of like, this is all over. What's happened has happened, and we as professionals we understand the consequences of our actions, or rather the lack of action by certain parties or certain individuals that led up to this incident. The statement in itself is I wouldn't say it's completely fabricated or scripted. It's a sort of a PR kind of apology that you expect from a professional, whereas all these help and these professional writers behind the scenes. I would put it much as like, here's the apology. What's done is done. Let's just move on. If and how anyone was implicit or directly involved in this unsavory incident leading up to all of this, it's forgotten now. Let's just move on. I would actually love to hear these words from Sun Heung-min himself rather than having something typed out and plastered all over social media and the internet. Of course, it's easy for us fans or even the media to get him to give a spoken sort of interview or statement about this. But in hindsight, maybe just maybe now might not be the time to come out in public in front of the cameras to say anything about this other than the statement that's already been issued. What I will say now for both Sun Heung-min, Lee Kang-in, and the Korean national team, I really hope they learn from this incident, because to be honest, as a Sun Heung-min fan and a Spurs fan, and also us Asians in general, Korea were seen as the favorites to lift the Asian Cup other than Australia. So to have this sort of thing happen behind the scenes leading up to a very crucial semi-final really puts a different spin altogether on how and why the Koreans were dumped out by Jordan. I would expect nothing more from Sun Heung-min, Lee Kang-in, and the rest of the national players to learn from this and really uh, make sure that nothing of this sort ever happens again, whether it's domestically or internationally or even behind the scenes in training. I sincerely hope that this is something that not only the Koreans or Asians can learn from, but any other professional team as well. For Spurs, for example, the way we've handled our PR with regards to maybe certain players that are being let go, or players that are being moved on, and also players that are expected to leave the club at the end of the contracts. So yes, all in all, I would say that this statement has served its purpose. Whether or not some people view it the way we view it, the way how we see this as a sort of blanket apology, and that if it's really from the heart, if it's sincere or not, that's up to their interpretations. But for my interpretation, it's sufficient, and hopefully both Lee Kang In and Sang Min can just move on from this and strive for better things for the Korean national team.
Yeah, I agree with that. We gotta say hi to a few people. We have Ben saying another new Ashy angle. So, the context for this, people, is that I am currently at my parents' house, not at at like my place, and this is my childhood bedroom. You can see there's a world map in the back, and all my like childhood books. So, excuse the mess. It's just one giant little like it's just a huge storage room with all of my like childhood things that nobody's thrown away for ages. So everyone has to deal with that mess. Um, Tequila saying big up Ash, lovely Ash, and now lovely Chang. Chang, you have been upgraded to lovely. Last time Tequila said lovely Ash and possibly lovely Chang. Now you have been fully upgraded to lovely. So uh, and then we have audio artisan saying morning peeps, morning audio artisan. um and then Rob and Tequila are talking about how it's about like kind of dull right now. It is kind of dull. um Rob saying, I saw Chang on Kate's show on Monday. What a great addition to the community. Absolutely. Chang is awesome. Everyone, if you don't know, Chang's also regularly on Spurs Vision TV, so you can go there. Chang, if you could just put the link in the private chat, I'll put it up.
Sure, I
Uh,
will. Of
Nic-
course, yeah.
Nicholas is saying, Sun should not be down on the left hand side anymore. We're so fluent with him down the middle. We'll come back to this. I'll just start this. We'll come back to this. Yeah, Chag is definitely the most polite person on the internet. You know, my parents sometimes see this show and then they
Thank
scream
you
at
very
me.
much.
They're just like, look at Chang. Chang is so polite. You are so like opposite of that. You know how Asian people are about manners. So I get scolded about this every day, but then you are what you are. Um, Neil saying, "Good morning, guys. Great show. Thanks, Neil." And Kwezali is here saying, "Good day." And Neil's also saying, "Like, subscribe, and share. Absolutely, everyone. That's what you should do." Good morning to wonderful Chang and beautiful Ash. Hashtag Mia Ray. Thank you, Mia, and good morning to Shamtan. Jishnu is here saying Kang and Lee is the most talented Asian right now. That's debatable. I'm going to start this one as well. Um, and we have Wayne Bonner saying, Sup, everyone. Hope you're all well. Where was Klinsman doing during the incident? And what did he do about it? Yeah, let's talk about this as well. I think I've said hi to most people. Um, can Rob saying, can someone explain the Sony issue? If it's something you don't want to discuss, I understand. No, actually, Rob, let's just go into it. Um, So basically, what happened is that just before the Jordan game, during lunch, a bunch of Korean players were eating together, and some of the new players, including Kang In Lee, decided they wanted to go play table tennis, or as some people call it, ping pong. Um, and so they wanted to eat fast and leave early. Now, some of the senior players basically objected to this and said that the whole team should eat together and then focus on the game. So you shouldn't just like run off to play table tennis because that will distract you. And then there was a little bit of a dust up between some of the senior players and some of the junior players. And while two people were fighting, um, Sunny tried to separate uh, two people, and in the process, he dislocated his finger. And Kang In Lee is rumored to be one of the people that he was separating. One of the young people also who wanted to go play table tennis. Uh, and that's where all of the fight began. Um And yeah, so there was a lot of drama over the Korean team, and it became a big issue because Sunny dislocated his finger. Because how can a junior player dislocate his captain's finger? Like, it's just not okay to like injure your fellow player. So that's why it became a huge deal in Korea, also because Korea got knocked out after that. So clearly that incident affected the game. And where was Klinsmann? Honestly, I'm not sure, but honestly, Klinsmann is one of those managers who's not very well involved with his team to begin with, and he was just a terrible manager. I love him as a Spurs fan, but as a Korean manager, he was just the worst. Chang, what do you think? Where do you think Klinsmann was during all of this?
There are two, from what I gathered so far from various Korean journalists and these reporters that were also trying to get an angle from Klinsmann with regards to this incident that led up to the huge bust up uh, right before the semi-final between Korea and Jordan. One outlet, I believe this was a local Korean reporter who had some insider information to the managerial staff, or rather the coaching staff that had some or very little involvement in this issue. He was reported, I'm not going to mention the name, but this Korean journalist reported that Klinsmann delegated his assistants who spoke Korean fluently, or rather the local Korean staff, to handle it themselves because he didn't want to actively get involved without having to try to take sides or try to show favoritism amongst the players. And maybe in some hindsight, that could be true if it is true at all, because it would actually answer a lot of questions that many Korean fans and neutral fans alike have about his managerial style, in which, because he is German and he primarily speaks German and English and knows nothing about Korean, knows little to no Korean as well. I would say that everything that he's ever done, whether it's conveying instructions, trying to set up tactics, or even trying to give motivational talks, all of this actually came through his medium, his Korean counterparts, his translators. And as such, there is that uh, sort of I wouldn't say it's disunity. It's more like it's more like a divide. Is a very divisive sort of barrier between Klinsmann and the Korean players that wasn't really addressed during maybe his early weeks or first few months taking charge of the Korean national team. And you could actually see this as well during the games in which he doesn't really convey any instructions. He doesn't really give any sort of messages or talks to his players, apart from maybe Sunny and Lee Kang-in or a few others who know English. But all I will say about Klinsmann and where he stands in this regard with regards to the bust up, uh, unless you are able to actively engage with the players and speak their language and actually know how to calm these Koreans down the way maybe another Korean would, you are otherwise useless. The same way I could say that maybe he himself is not entirely suited for the job, because if he cannot convey his tactics, his ideology, or even his way of playing, his style of playing to the Korean players, then all of this would have been for naught. And for South Korea to have been dumped out the way they lost to Jordan after all those narrow wins against Australia in the quarterfinals and all the previous matches that they came back from losing positions, it was very anti-dramatic, anti-climactic. It was very anti-climactic. The way how he didn't really uh, get involved with uh, making sure that the bust up didn't happen to begin with, and how he didn't impose himself on the semi-finals match. That you could see at the end of the match, he wasn't really too bothered. put it this way, when all the Koreans were slumped and demoralized, he was just happily just smiling away, just looking rather bemused at how Korea could have lost this. And that for me is I think a big part of as to why he wasn't really suited for the job in the first place, let alone equipped to stop the unwanted incident from happening. So yeah, Jurgen Klinsmann, everything that went wrong for him in his entire managerial career as a career head coach was summed up in that one incident of how he wasn't even able to handle the Korean players from getting in each other's faces and coming to blows.
Yeah. Tequila saying never knew table tennis was so dangerous. And I kind of agree with Ben. Like I'm at the same place as Ben. I think Klinsman is just a poor manager. His tactics are very outdated. They don't reflect the modern game. He doesn't know how to change it, so he's not tactically sound. It's okay to play however you want. You can play long ball, however you choose to play, or be direct, or have a big striker in the box. But the thing is that if you're doing that, then you have to know how to counter the way that everyone else is playing the modern game. As long as you're tactically aware of how the modern game is played, you can play it however you like to play it, simply because you're a good manager and you can figure out ways to sort of counter it. But if you're going to be playing the old way and not know how to sort of combat this new style, then there's no point. And I do agree with you on the language thing, Chang, because when Ange went to Japan, he learned Japanese. He's one of those players, like, sorry, one of those managers who was like, I need to know the local language because I have to communicate with my players, and I have to communicate with my fans. So I think that it's really important to learn the language, especially in places like Asia, where there's like a lot of Asian countries, including South Korea, have like the very public facing sort of the role of manager there's a lot of pressure because you have to uh, image is very important in Asia, like more so than anywhere else, because what you do, all your actions, they're sort of put through a microscope in a way. uh, like it's true in other countries as well, but there is something about Asian countries where it's important to do things right. Culture matters. The way you present yourself matters. All these things matter. And Klinsman, for example, wasn't staying in South Korea. He was off doing his ESPN gig somewhere, and he wasn't like going to local matches and scouting, etc. And it just looked bad. Like in general, like the image of it was just bad. So fans, Asian fans will never get behind someone like that. Also because I think that uh, like like because we're like sometimes so it's so hard to understand us if you're not from the same country. You have to try that much harder if you're a foreign coach. uh, because it's not like English where everyone sort of knows it, or that we can work with translators, etc. I gotta We gotta quickly go through some other questions. um Nicholas is saying, Sun should not be down the left hand side anymore. We were so fluent with him down the middle. Chang, what do you think? Do you think Sunny should be
I
just placed for us?
I absolutely agree with Mr. Nicholas Collison here 100% on this statement because even before the match on a few other streams as well, I was clamoring. I was almost lobbying for Richarlison to be benched, even though I know he's hit a very rich vein of form recently, especially during those few weeks that Sang Heung-min was away on international duty. But it's always been my understanding that Sun Heung-min would be the new central forward, kind of like the way Cristiano Ronaldo reinvented himself and shifted from left to center. Now that he's over in the Middle East, uh, if you were to cast your mind back to those few matches leading up to the Asian Cup when Sun Heung-min and Richarlison actually formed a very effective partnership with Sun. going down the middle and having Richarlison on his left, that actually led to quite a lot of goal contributions for both of them before Son Heung-min was called away on international duty. And when Son Heung-min comes back, or rather when he came on for that home game against Brighton, I was thinking, you know what, Richarlison is going to be substituted. Son Heung-min is going to go to the middle. Timo Werner is going to be shifted to the left, and maybe bring on a Brennan Johnson to bombard down that right hand wing. To my surprise, I believe Richarlison actually stayed on in that game, and Son Heung-min was then the replacement for Timo Werner in the last 20 minutes or so, I believe, or was it 30 minutes? I can't really remember. But I know that Son Heung-min came on immediately after Pape Matar scored the equalizer against Brighton. And from that moment onwards, we didn't even look uh, remotely effective and efficient on either flank after Son Heung-min was deployed down the left. And I was thinking to myself, at the end of the game, yes, we got away with it. We got away with one against Brighton with that last gasp Brennan Johnson winner. But if we continue to deploy this sort of formation with Son going down the left and Richarlison in the middle, it is going to cause problems for ourselves, not the Wolves team, but for our own players if they maintain this sort of formation from the start against Wolves. And to be fair, I mean it's easy for me to say things like this now after the match is over, after we've seen the very patchy and disjointed performance our team put in. But if Son Heung-min has been playing down that middle before he left for the Asian Cup, and if Richarlison was that effective down the left hand wing, why even fix something that was already working to begin with if it wasn't broken? So from between now and the Palace game at home, I really do hope Son Heung-min is shifted back to the middle and maybe possibly push Richarlison out wide to the left. Although I won't entirely dismiss the possibility of Big Ange trying to experiment with Son in the middle again and Richarlison on his left, because we have options now. We have options coming off from the bench, whether it's Brennan Johnson, Timo Werner, or even possibly Manor Solomon in 2 weeks' time. I whatever position and whatever formation Big Ange does decide to field against Crystal Palace, something drastic has to change. If either one of Udogi or Poro is still out by then, I'm going to assume at this point in time that Udogi and Poro will not be ready and available for Crystal Palace, which then brings to mind what is our most effective front three if we are to persist with only having three players up front. For me, looking at how we played against Brighton, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and also against, I believe it was Brentford, if not mistaken, the last time we played at home before Brighton. From these three home matches alone, Richarlison, if he has to start, he should start on the left. If Son Heung-min, our club captain, has to start as well, he should be down the center, which leaves either Kulusevski, Timo Werner, or Brennan Johnson to deputize on the right. So with that in mind, my ideal front three would be Son Heung-min in the middle, Richarlison on the left, and Kulusevski on the right, or even Brennan Johnson if we do so require that pace going down the right hand side. So yes, Song Heung-min, Richarlison, and Kulusevski.
Yeah, I gotta say hi. David's in the house, so hi, David, saying boom. So David's already mic dropped, and he's also saying wowee. So, hi, David. David. Small fact on my phone now when I type "good day," the autocorrect immediately suggests David because I've typed it so many times. Um, because of like YouTube chats, I keep meeting David and saying "good day, David." And so I've typed it so many times that my phone fills in David every time I write good day. So now good day is permanently associated with David on autocorrect. Uh, Ben is saying Nick has an agenda son against Richarlison. Yeah, well, Nick has many agenda sons, including his Emerson agenda son. So uh, I- it's uh, we gotta get Nick sometimes on the sometime on the show to talk about all of his different agendas. Um, so I will say this about this Sunny down the middle. I think that we don't have to stick to like a set front three. The way Ange plays is really flexible. So I feel like for different matches we can do different things. So like when there's a lot of space in behind, um, like with if we're playing one of the big teams, Chelsea, Liverpool, City, we could put Sunny in the center and he runs. He'll time his run and he'll go for it down the center against City. When he's down the center, he's absolutely inevitable. So I think against the big teams where he won't get bullied in a low block, I think Sunny down the middle makes a lot of sense. And I think that in the teams where there's a really low block and Sunny would probably just get bullied off the ball and not be able to do much with it. Uh, in those games, it might make sense to have Richarlison down the center simply because he's just a little bit stronger. And Not that I'm saying Sunny can't be strong. I'm just saying that that one skill I think Richarlison is better at slightly. That's not by a lot, but slightly. So I think that for different strokes for different games. So it's possible to um like be flexible about this. um, we have a few more people. Potomac is in the housing. Extremely well said. Big respect, Chang. Yeah, absolutely, Chang. um yeah, we have a few more questions that I've starred. I will get to them. Jishnu is saying Kang In Lee is the most talented Asian right now. What do you think? I disagree with this, but what do you think, Chang?
This is a rather hard question to have to answer because I can only comment on the players or rather the leagues that I follow actively, either on playback highlights, match highlights, or YouTube highlights, or even uh, live international competitions like the one we just watched in the Asian game. Uh, a few weeks prior, I believe it was, yes, the Asian Games that took place in January. If you were to ask me as to which Asian has the highest ceiling or the highest potential, or even as Jishnu mentioned here, the most talented, it would be I mean, Lee Kang In is a good player. Don't get me wrong, and he has proven that by his uh, domestic league form for PSG. But if you to ask me offhand, who I feel is most talented, talent wise, has got to be Sun Heung-min. For me, anyway, the efficiency that he has with both feet, whether it's scoring screamers or his passing range or even his dribbles for that matter, whether it's down the left, down the right, however you put it, with his ability. He for me is the outright most talented player in Asia. And if you were to look up his statistics and his ratings on any football application or software or game that there is now uh, available for commercially available to anyone who's interested, he has to rate as the single most talented or the single best player from Asia with the highest ability rating, regardless of whatever version you have, whether it's the latest one this year or the past 2 or 3 years prior to this. Sanmi for me will be the most talented player until someone comes along and maybe wins the Golden Boot outright or gets the most assists uh, or goals and assist ratio in any of the top five European leagues. That I think would be my benchmark anyway. That would be my benchmark to try and gauge which is the most talented Asian here. If that's how I would like to answer Mr. Jishnu Raju.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think that Sunny, like all of these young players, Hwang Hee-chan, Mitoma, Kang In Lee, all of these people are young and they show a lot of promise. And maybe in the future they can go on to be as good or even better than Sunny. But right now, with his record, with all of his statistics, it just has to be Sunny who's the very best player in Asia. I also would like to give an honorable mention to Kim Min Jae as a defender. Defenders don't get as much uh, and Kubo as well. I think is an up and coming talent. So there are a bunch of them. I wouldn't say that Kang In Lee is the only option there. So it's very debatable who we think of as most talented. And Ben saying Hwang Hee-chan is the next talisman. Mitoma is Asia's most talented player. Yeah, I do agree. Mitoma has a lot of talent. I think. Uh, so after Sunny, of course. Uh, so I gotta just say hi to a few people. We have Jose in the house, El Tel Cockerel himself, saying, "Good afternoon, Ash and Chang. You both look really well and at home on this channel." Yeah, absolutely, everyone. And everyone else in the comments also looks at home on this channel. So I'm so happy that we're all doing this on El Tel Cockerel. And if anyone's listening but hasn't subscribed, please do so. It would mean a lot to us. We're trying to grow this channel. It's a lovely channel, and Jose is a lovely guy. So you should all subscribe. And you might see us here pretty often, every alternate Wednesday. So it's gonna happen. So you might as well tune in for that and subscribe. Chang, are you frozen or am I? I think you're frozen. Chat, tell me if I'm frozen and it's. Oh no, no, you're fine now. You're fine. Um. So yeah, and David saying, "Geez, Ash, you're choking me up." Yeah. Um. And then David's also talking about cricket. Ash, what happened to basketball? David, if you saw the previous game, you would know that India won the test. And yeah, I know that most people don't care about cricket, but we're gonna decimate England. They won the first test by accident, and now they're just going to be decimated. Poor them. Um, then Potomac is saying Son walks into every single Premier League team, in my opinion, even City and Liverpool. I absolutely agree. However, he needs to be a little more ambitious to score goals. Zero shots don't win games for us. Yeah, I agree with this. Um, sometimes I'm just like, shoot, but then Sunny does always exceed his xg, so he does take his chances more often than everyone else. Jishnu is saying most talented young prospect. Last season Kangili was averaging 2.5 dribbles per game, only below Vinicius. Also, he had a success rate above Vinny. So I think, yeah, most talented prospect I could get behind, but most talented player I would still put Sunny up there. Last season Sunny had a off season, but I do think that overall, Sunny stats look better. Um, and then David saying, "Well said" to Potomac. And then Chang went full Elsa because you were frozen. And then David saying, "Ben, we're going to Asia preseason." Jose tells us this is true. We are going to be meeting Bayern. We're going to have a game with Bayern. So how do you feel about that, Chang?
This is a very commercial move, if you ask me, because almost every European team now with a Korean superstar in their ranks, whether it's Wolverhampton Wanderers with Hwang Hee-chan, whether it's Bayern Munich with Kim Min-jae, or maybe even PSG for all we know with Lee Kang-in, Spurs of course with the Korean national captain Sang Heung-min. If we do indeed go back to Korea this coming summer, I believe it's the third time now. It'll be the third time that Spurs are going to Korea with Sun Heung-min as our player, and it's going to be the first time also that Spurs are visiting Korea with Sang Hyun-min as our club captain, because the last time Spurs went there under Conte, Hugo Lloris was still very much our club captain. So 2 years later, a lot has changed. Harry Kane has moved on. Former club captain Hugo Lloris just only moved on to LA Galaxy the previous month, I believe it was in January, and now we are returning there with Sang Hyun-min as firm club captain. Although whom we actually face off in Korea, if that comes to if that really comes to fruition, who will we play in Korea? Whether it's Bayern Munich or Wolves or even the Korean K League teams remains to be seen. But I am very excited for this. I am very excited for Spurs to be back in Korea, especially a lot of those new faces that we have, the likes of Poro, Udogi, Pape Matasar, Bisuma, I believe. Yeah, Bisuma as well. And Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson, if Timo Werner is still around, I'm sure Son Heung-min will love nothing more than to show Timo Werner around in Korea. So yes, this is really something to look forward to. And who knows, we might even return from Korea with a new Korean player to supplement Sung Heung-min in the Spurs squad. We never know.
Talking about Korean players, we could come back with Neha is asking, can you see more Asian players joining Spurs in the summer? Do you see anyone? Are there any prospects that strike you as possibly coming to Spurs from Asia, especially because Ange knows that market really well? Chang? Okay,
Mm,
Chang, can you
I'm
hear
here.
me?
I'm here. I'm not frozen. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear. I'm clear. I'm not frozen. Okay, maybe it's the delay. I'm not sure if it's the delay from this channel or maybe it's our time zones. But yes, I can hear you loud and clear. So back to your question with regards to Asians joining Spurs. Currently, if we were to get another Asian player in to help out Sun Heung-min, especially in the strikers department, I would highly recommend Takefusa Kubo from Real Sociedad, who I believe is 22 years old. Yeah, he's 22 years old, and he can play anywhere across the front three, left, right, center, and he can even drop. He can drop back to act as an auxiliary eight, and even play on the left and right midfield uh, behind the forward players. So Takefusa Kubo would be my pick to join Spurs in summer if he really is available from Real Sociedad. Other than that, if I couldn't get Kubo from Japan, but I had to pick another Japanese, it's got to be Mitoma, Kaoru Mitoma from Brighton and Hove Albion, because if you've seen his performance, or rather his form at the beginning of the season, he really took the Premiership by storm at the beginning of this season, Mitoma, and he might have dropped off a little because of the Asian Games that he was also actively involved in. But make no mistake, Kaoru Mitoma, given the chance and opportunity, I can really see him doing a lot of good for us in a Spurs squad. Whether or not he makes it to the first starting 11, that one will be up to Big Ange. But if it if it isn't Takefusa Kubo from Real Sociedad, then I would very much like to have Mitoma from Brighton and Hove Albion to join Spurs in the summer.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Kubo seems like the profile of player we're looking at because he's young and he's upcoming, not fully discovered his potential. Mitoma, on the other hand, feels like the more ready player. So I feel like if we were to buy one of those Asian players, it would be Kubo. But I would love Mitoma at Spurs. I think he'd be amazing. I think it would be like buying, like not in terms of the position, but in terms of like the type of player, like profile of player, ready in the peak of his career, like Madison was. I think it would be that sort of player that would impact our team immediately. And I think we do need a few of those players as well. It's great to buy young, but somewhere we do need like that spine, like that Premier League proven spine. And I think Mitoma is one of those players that could give us that. Um, let's see. Yeah, David saying about Levy. Yeah, I do think it's a big PR exercise, the whole South Korean going to South Korea for preseason and all of that. I mean, at the same time, it's the same when we went to Israel. I think that all preseasons are PR exercises. They're all for every team. They go somewhere to the US or to like Israel or like to Asia, and then they or Australia or whatever, and like they go to emerging markets for football where they want to get more fans, and the whole point is to just get more fans. It's not really about the football. Eventually, you get some practice in, and you do a few games to sort of get it under your belt, but it's not really about that. It's mostly a glorified PR exercise. That's what it's become anyway. Mm, so I suppose we play the game as well as anyone else. Um, and Jose, remind me how much England lost by, because uh, like you and I both know it's a lot. It's in the AIA contract, and it makes Tottenham a lot of money. Yeah, absolutely, exactly what as Ben said. And David saying, I know, just hope we don't miss a valuable game. Yeah, like I really wish preseason was more than this. I wish that, we made something of it to become better. Maybe we will, facing a team like Bayern might help us. And, whatever else that we do. Maybe some warm weather training in Korea might help us as well. Who knows? Potomac is saying what makes Sunny extremely unique is that he can play under any system and manager. It's a rare trait. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with this 100%. He's so versatile. He right foot, left foot. The only thing he can't do is head a ball. Everything else Sunny can do. Um, yeah, David's agreeing, saying Sunny's special. And Nick saying another PR exercise and no real preseason. Yeah, absolutely, Nick. I mean, that's the game now. Unfortunately, them's the rules. And Levy, he loves to make a little bit of money on the side and get a little bit of free promotion out of his team. David saying, Chang goes off like a frog in a sock. Chang, you are now Elsa. You are a frog. Let's talk about all of the things that Chang can be when he's frozen. Um, and then Potomac saying, "Am I the only one who believes that we're all sleeping on Solomon? He strives to attack fullbacks, and his dribbling is absolutely fantastic." Chang, what do you think? Man of Solomon? Are we sleeping on him, or is it just one of those desperate buys?
Manor Solomon has a lot to prove, and to be fair, he did prove his worth in a few fair games before he was injured at the beginning of the season. If there was one particular game that I would highlight as a sort of like a benchmark for just how good Manor Solomon can be for Spurs and in an Ange system, if deployed correctly, would be the away game at Burnley. If you were to cast your mind back earlier this season to the away game at Burnley, he absolutely showed his worth and justified the free transfer from Fulham. Of course, it's easy for people to overlook that one good game he had simply because he looked so out of his depth previously when he was back at his old club Fulham in that very disappointing League Cup loss in the was it the second or third round? I can't really remember, but yeah, that League Cup away loss at Fulham. It wasn't just Manor Solomon who played badly. Pretty much every single player, even Fraser Foster himself, didn't really cover himself in much glory. But with regards to Manor Solomon, he still has a lot to prove. And given time, which looks rather uh, increasingly less and less likely right now, given the ample opportunities, yes, Manor Solomon can still come good for Spurs. I believe. The problem is we don't have any other domestic cups or even European games now for him to uh, prove his worth because every single game now is almost like a must win if we are indeed serious in qualifying for Champions League. So Manor Solomon, if and when he does get his chance, he really has to grab it with both hands and really go for it. unlike some of our bench players who came off the bench against Wolverhampton Wanderers and looked so disinterested and sometimes lost in that 2-1 loss. But yeah, Mano Solomon, feel he still has a lot to offer us and a lot to prove to Big Ange, and hopefully between now and the end of the season, we will see a bit of Mano Solomon if and when he comes back from injury.
Guess who we have in the house? The man with the best drip, Lee Smithy Smith's here saying bonjour, Ash and Mr. Chang, who's been slating Richie. So, Nick, Lee's coming at you right from the start, from the get go. He's here. Lee, I did not know you were part of the Guardians of the Pombo, but it's your. I'm sure you and Craig Sullivan would get along. Um, well, yeah, David's also saying Solomon, I miss greatly before Madison's comments. What does the second part mean, David? Um, and then David saying they had a scrap, none in see here. Yeah, absolutely, none see here. Um, and then Ben saying we need to forget Mitoma. He'll cost 90 million. We don't spec big money on players. Yeah, you know what? I kind of want to come to this. Like Spurs, right? We're now one of the richest. We're the richest club in London, right? Our strategy is that we buy cheap young players. We try and like raise their value because they're going to get better as they go along. People like Odogi and Sar have tripled their value. I'm guessing by now. So, uh, what do you think, Jack? Do you think that means we're never going to buy like a big money player, like is or do you think we just shouldn't buy big money players because we've gotten it wrong so often?
There are two ways of looking at this. If I were Daniel Levy, from a very neutral financial point of view, the first thing that comes to mind when you talk about big money signings, especially the failed big money signings for Spurs, the most recent being a very forgettable Tongi and Dombele, and right now Brendan Johnson as well with what 45 million pounds or something around that range. Big money signings, unless they are marquee signings, unless they are proven, they are time and they are proven players and they have good track records, either in Europe or even in Britain, in the UK. I wouldn't really put much faith in any more big money signings unless you are going for someone like, say, a Wang Hee-chan from Wolves, if he's available, and a British player, let's say along the lines of a Conor Gallagher, or even another South American, along the lines of, say, a Pedro Neto. For that amount of money, 60 million for Pedro Neto. Unless these are proven players, I doubt it. Daniel Levy is going to sanction another big money signing unless Big Ange is really adamant that this big money signing is key to his Ange ball system, and this big money signing has indeed a track record that can be justified even without kicking a ball for Tottenham Hotspur. That's the only way I can see another big money signing coming in for Spurs. Because as much as I would like to have a big money signing, all of our big money signings thus far, and this comes all the way back from the days that we broke transfer records, whether it's Darren Ben from Carlton Athletic or Roberto Soldado from Valencia. And then we
No
have
Soldado
the
you.
more recent one. Yep, Soldado from Valencia, and then Davinson Sanchez as well. He cost something like 40 million pounds from Ajax back then. And leading up to that, now we have Tongi and Dombele, club record signing. Look at where he is now. Look at his physique, for that matter. And Brendan Johnson, who I still feel has a lot to give, just like Manor Solomon. But because fans are so quick to look at his price tag and almost like turn a blind eye towards the British tax, that comes with his price tag, then the next big money signing that we do splash the money out on has to be someone with a proven track record. That's the only way I can see us signing another big money signing under Enoch and Daniel Levy.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I tend to agree with that. Gotta say hi. Bobby K is here. Good morning, Ash, Chang, and everyone in the chat.
Bobby
Good
Kang in the
morning to you,
house.
Bobby K. And I will say that Bobby K, I have to take up an agenda that's happened on Coop in the Kang. It has nothing to do with you. Jim said that I'm tiny like Mia. This is absolutely not true. It is totally and completely and utterly false information. I am really tall for my for like Indian standards. I'm 5'8". Okay, that's pretty tall. It's just that I keep the because of spondylitis, you should never keep your laptop down. So I always keep my laptop at like face level. It's easier to type as well. So everyone, it's an agenda. Ash is not short. so I definitely not tiny. Um, so yes, that's my agenda myth buster of the day. Coming back to the football, um, uh, Jishnu's come in and said Alan Varela of Porto, one player we should keep an eye on. Okay, Jishnu, tell us how it goes. I don't know much about him. I know he's Argentinian. That's all I know about him. Isn't he like a midfielder? But like I don't really watch like Porto, so I wouldn't know more than that. So you keep us updated if there's something that we're missing out on. Um, then there's something about Gibbs White. Oh yeah, there we go. David's saying Gibbs White. David, I think Gibbs White would be worth much more in this market. A forward is nothing less than 60 million, especially a forward that plays in the Premier League. There'll be a Premier League tax. And I think he'll be at least 60 million in my view. Um, and then David saying Hangi Chan for 30 to 40 million. Again, forward, playing in the Premier League. I would suggest that he goes for 60 or 70. I would also say that I think didn't Hwangi Chan just sign for Wolves? He just signed, right? Like this year.
You mean like a contract extension? Is it a contract
Yeah.
extension? I do recall that there were talks, whether or not that was
Oh wait.
formalized.
Ben
I
saying yes. Huang just signed a deal. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
absolutely. That would mean that he'd be worth quite a bit. I'd still think, at 60 or
Interesting.
70, he'd still be worth it.
Oh, definitely, most definitely. Although it begs the question, why didn't we uh, look into signing him before the start of the season as an alternative to maybe splashing the money on Brennan Johnson, or even going as far as loaning Timo Werner if Wang Hee-chan was available before he signed his contract extension.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, yeah, Lee and Nick have agendas. I'm just gonna skip to a part of the chat talking about agendas. I feel like oh wait, Mia's in the house. Where's I feel like I saw Mia. Here we go. Big up everyone. Please smash the like button. Yeah, absolutely everyone. Please smash the like button. And Ben saying fake news to me being short. And see, Ben's agreeing with me. 5'8" is quite tall, actually. Yes, absolutely. In comparison, I am 5'11". See? And Bobby K is saying 5'8", you're a giant. I absolutely am. I'm towering over all of you, looking down on you from wherever I am. Um, and David saying definitely pocket rocket. Definitely not that. Speaking of pocket rockets, Mia says, "What's wrong with being short? Nothing. I'm just not that short. Um, unfortunately, it's just biological fact that I'm not. I kind of wish I was though. It'd be really nice. Like I always wanted to be like, oh, my friends in India. Like in India, we generally tend to be a little shorter. So like the average height for women is like 5'1" or 5'2". So I feel like a little bit like what was the Gulliver Travels, was that it? Um, so I
Gulliver
feel like
Travels, yes.
yeah, like I feel like like the Gulliver with the Lilliputians. I don't know how to pronounce that. Um, and Tequila saying I'm 6'11". I really hope this is 6'1", because if it's 6'11", Tequila, what the hell are you doing? Uh, like you should be wrestling or something, like WWE, anywhere but like making game streams. Uh, okay, I gotta go back in the chat now that I have addressed this. Where were we at? Yeah. David saying, didn't Klinsmann win in Bundesliga? I have no clue. Chang, did he?
I'm trying to recall Klinsmann as a club coach. I have to look this up because all this while I thought that Klinsmann was very international based. I know that Klinsmann managed both the German national team and also the American national team prior to managing South Korea. Did he ever? This one I may have to look up. I'm not too sure. Let me just very
Yeah,
quickly
neither am I.
do some.
And Nick saying, Nick is apparently saying his agenda with chest. So all you Emerson Royal fans, Nick is with you, and Lee is not. Uh, and then Potomac saying Mitoma, great dribbler and threat, but unfortunately lacks the end product. Sane, Rafinha, or Neto for me. Yeah, I quite like Rafinha. Sane maybe not. Neto definitely, but he's really injury prone for me. And then everyone's talking to each other. And David saying, I love Agro Smithy. Yes, we all love Agro Smithy. Um, and then Tequila saying, big up to everyone. There we go. And then Potomac saying, as we have no realistic hope for a trophy this season, and as a fan, I'm completely blah. What's motivating the players, in your opinion? What do you think, Chang? What's motivating our players?
That's a very good question. What is motivating our players? Top four qualification for Champions League is one I can think of. Uh, the need to prove themselves, their worth. If they do see Spurs as merely a stepping stone club to bigger things, the way what was his name? Dragushin, yeah, Radu Dragushin's agent was trying to imply that Spurs were merely a stepping stone for Dragushin to maybe move on to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or even one of those big European clubs who pretty much qualify automatically for Champions League every single season they are in existence. So if it's not for own personal glory, I really do hope it's for uh, club is to achieve the club's target of winning trophies and regular qualification for Europe. Other than that, I don't see how any other player would be motivated beyond the sense of financial gain or even their own status, their own personal status when it comes to football.
Yeah, for me, I feel like if you're playing, like if you're wearing the shirt, you have to play every game like you want to win it. It should not matter whether you're playing for a trophy, whether you're playing in the league, whether you're playing for absolutely a Chang. Like you're playing for top four, whatever it is you're playing for. Every time you step onto that pitch, we pay you millions of like pounds. We pay you a lot of money to play for this club, and you live a lifestyle better than most people on the planet. Now so every time
Agreed.
you step out onto that pitch, you got to give your 100%. I don't care what, like if there's no trophy driving those players,
Agreed.
like they better come out and play for the badge every single time they step out onto the pitch. And I will have it no other way. I'm sorry. um Sorry, that was a mini
Yep.
rant there. And then Tequila saying he's 6'11" when he's standing on his wallet. How rich is Tequila? um and then Tequila saying hi to everyone. Everyone saying hi to each other. And I'm loving this beef that Lee and Nick are having in the chat. Long may it continue. Um, and then, yeah, all of this is great. I have no clue where the. Yeah, there we go. Brentford, he's not a striker. Who are we talking about? Have I missed something? Um.
I don't
Anyway,
see any
Nick,
mention of. Hmm.
Nick, just tell us who you're talking about. And then Nick is saying, "Mind you, neither is Richie." And then David saying, "Kulu Falls 9." I'm not buying that. And then Tequila saying, "Good things come in small packages." So I'm told. Tequila, it's not the size that matters. Um, and then Ben is saying Mia is like half my size. Um, so yeah, well, Ben, Mia may be half your size, but she's twice the voice. You would know that considering the diehard arguments you've had with her. Having multiple top players in the final third creates space. Ben Davies or Royal near the box is like air for the opposition. Um, Having multiple top players in the final third creates space. Ben Davies or Yeah, that's true. It's using space and behind. Yeah, absolutely. Like, this is the problem, right? Ben Davies and Emerson are both very positionally unaware. They don't. They don't. Ben. No, actually, I would take that back. Ben Davies is fine positionally. He understands that he may not be able to execute it every time because he isn't fast enough, but he understands it. With Emerson, I feel like sometimes he's so positionally unaware because he goes forward when he's
I
not supposed to and he comes back when he's not supposed to, like he just doesn't know when to go and when not to, I feel. What do you think, Chang?
I I think what Potomac is trying to state here is that uh, in order for players to be effective, especially in the final third, to create space, they have to be top players. And in this case, if Ben Davies or Emerson Royal were to ever go near the opposition's final third, it would be like they are invincible, which is why he's saying like if they are like air to or to the opposition because they're ineffective. They're ineffective and they don't pose any kind of threat. And I believe this was very evident towards the end of the Wolves game, whereby Ben Davies had this glorious chance to at the very least try to hit the target from something like 4 yards out with a free header, no one marking him, and he couldn't even get the header on target. It's ballooned well wide away from the Wolves goal, and I believe this is what Potomac is trying to highlight here.
Oh, okay, sorry, I maybe slightly misunderstood Potomac. We are saying big up all the short queens. Yeah, absolutely big up everybody, all the short queens. And Tequila saying, yeah, shout out the hobbits out there. Well, you do know, Tequila, that the hobbits saved Middle Earth. Okay, they are the reason. Like they are the reason why Saruman lost, and why the ring went into the fire, and why all of it happened. So I think that nobody should underestimate the hobbits. Shout out to all the LOTR fans there. Um, Lenny Henry was a hobbit in that Lord of the Rings show. There was a Lord of the Rings show. I didn't know
That is
that.
correct.
Isn't Lenny Henry the is he a
Uh,
comedian?
he's a British, I believe he's a British actor and also a comedian, Lenny Henry, and the latest Amazon Prime series, I believe it's
Oh,
called is
oh,
it
right,
called
right,
War of the Ring?
right.
Yeah, that
No, I
that
know what you're talking
first
about. Yeah,
season, that first season,
yeah.
yep,
I
that's
didn't
first
watch
season.
it because
Lenny Henry was a part of it.
I didn't watch that show because they didn't have the rights for Silmarillion, so they were sort of like skirting a lot of the issues.
Hmm.
So I felt like it would be bad, so I didn't watch it. But if anyone thinks that it was a good show, then tell me, I will go watch it because I'm huge
I
Tolkien.
finished it actually. I finished it, and although it doesn't follow strictly to the source material, Like if you were to follow the backstory for Elrond, for Galadriel, for Sauron, even the halflings, and even Gandalf as well. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but everything here is sort of like taken out of context and given a new spin to it, which does make for good viewing. But when you do view it, try not to think so much of political correctness and wokeness, because you will get a hint of it, the whole wokeness thing, and having all these multicultural races and multi diversity. That's what they're trying to that's what they're trying to bring in now. But other than that, I believe I saw it and it's quite a good show. You should really give it a try if you feel you're up to it.
Yeah, maybe I'll check it out. And then David's saying my best cover work behind the scenes in the first movie. Are you serious, David? That is so cool. I've always wanted to go to New Zealand just to check out like they have like a whole Lord of the Rings set up there with all of the sets and everything. So I kind of want to go see that at some point.
You
Um,
can even you can even go to Hobbiton right now. I believe the hill in which Hobbiton was set on is you can actually go there and visit it, and see Hobbiton for what it's supposed to be like in the books.
Yeah, absolutely, David. England, we are going to decimate England, and that's all I care about. Cricket. Um, Mia saying, not the size of the boat, it's the motion of the ocean. Absolutely. And then Nick saying, but she's crazy, so we don't mess with her. Yeah. Mia's 3 foot nothing, but she's crazy, so we don't mess with her. Yeah, Mia, you keep them scared. Um, and then David saying, I won't put him in a corner if Ange won't put him on the pitch. Who are we talking about? Mia, because you don't put baby in the corner. um, and then Mia saying, carry. Yeah, yeah. So we're basically talking about Emerson Royale. Um, yeah, I've given my opinion on Emerson Royale. I'm not gonna. Sorry, I meant top players are double teamed. Yeah, I think this is what Chang was saying as well. Bobby's saying Emerson is so possessionally unaware that an old man with Alzheimer's knows where to be more than this TikTok clown. Oh God, maybe we should put it like how people with like Alzheimer's and all they have like on their hand they write their address and things like that. We should put that on Emerson. We should be like, this is when you run, this is when you don't, or like tie him to a
I
string to another player.
I honestly never quite got the whole Emerson hype to begin with. Like there were he had a few good games for Spurs. Make no mistake about it, especially during the Conte era before this whole big Ange ball era kicked off. And whenever he did put up a decent performance, whether it's against one of those top four, top five teams, or even any of those mid table teams, he would then get his PR team to put out this Emerson compilations, these highlights from every game. And if he does score a goal or provide an assist, that's good. But it's one thing to do well in one game and then go completely missing or make very schoolboy errors in the immediate game after that. And I feel that that is the story of Emerson Royal, where he will have his purple patches, make no mistake about it. But then when it comes to his off form games, or other games in which he goes missing, or even makes calamitous mistakes that lead to oppositions getting good chances or scoring from those unforced errors by him, that's when he really needs to just learn to keep a very low profile and just stay off social media, because right now social media can be a very, very, very dangerous double-edged sword, in which it can actually do wonders for you if you are on top of a game, but it also can come back to bite you if you make some ridiculous remarks or put up some ridiculous videos that you shouldn't be putting up. So if I were Emerson Royal, I'd stay well clear of social media until maybe the season is over or until he does find his form again.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Benny's saying rings of power shite. Apparently, when he was not a fan, they made Galadriel look like a total moron, like full blown damsel in distress. oh, I wouldn't like that. Especially because Tolkien doesn't have a lot of powerful women in his writing, and Galadriel is one of the few that was sort of that person. It'd be nice if but I'll check it out and see what it's like. I'll make up my own mind. Uh, what do you resemble? Oh, person with Alzheimer's. Well, then you are better than Emerson Royale, David. Um, and then David saying Snow White and no short. What does that mean? Anyway,
Snow White and no short buggers. Maybe the dwarfs. Snow White and no dwarfs.
oh, okay. I still don't get it, but okay. Yeah, David yeah. I'm not talking about cricket, everyone. This is the football stream. Football. Um, yeah, you do have an extra bowler though in Stokes. I will say that, yes. Um, and then Nick is saying, "I'm coming for you all." Yeah, Nick, show up on the show. Come here, talk to us, and brainwash us with your agenda. Maybe we'll at the end of the show we'll all love Emerson Royale. Maybe we'll fix it up for next week or something. Jose, yeah, we're still talking about cricket. Yeah, you were hoping for a draw. You wish. You saw how much we scored. Sorry for being repetitive. Zero shots from Sun doesn't win us games. An angry Sun scores hat tricks. Sun on a mission to prove a point. Scores two to win a golden boot on final day. Uh, I mean, I'd like to think that Sunny, no matter his mood, does well for the team. I think if you give Sunny the ball in positions where he can score, more often than not, he scores. But if the midfield is not working, if defensively we're not working, then it doesn't matter what Sunny does. Um, I'm not saying that Sunny had the best of games in the last game. No, I don't think anyone did. But I do think that there are bigger problems than Sunny being able to score. I think if you gave him the ball in a good position, most or more often than not, he would score. Um, and then David saying Stokesy not bowled in 10 months. Well, it's Test cricket. You can always give it a shot for a few overs. Nick saying Haaland is still in his pocket. Emerson Royale.
I really do
Oh,
hope. I really do hope that someone really does keep Erling Haaland in his pocket when Manchester City does come to N17 to play Tottenham Hotspur at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium later on at the end of this season, because I would feel that those three crunch matches against Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester City is going to make or break our season. The way we are not picking up points right now, losing at home to Wolves, dropping 2 points away at Everton when we should have won that game. Those these drop points are going to come back to bite us. And if something doesn't happen drastically, especially against the reigning champions who look to be wobbly this season, if you have seen the highlights or if you watched the game that they won 1-0 from that Erling Haaland goal against Brentford, that was actually quite a fortuitous goal for Erling Haaland to score. I believe the last man, the last defender for Brentford actually slipped and fell on his face when Erling Haaland was on a breakaway. So Manchester City aren't having the best of games, and I really do hope someone keeps Erling Haaland and everyone else on that City forward line in their back pockets at the end of the 90 minutes.
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, please do, please do. And then David saying so rather Mickey Mouse preseason. Um, yeah, it's just unfortunate that that's the case, but it is what it is, David. We just live with it. And then Ben saying I watched 2015 Cinderella yesterday, absolutely dreadful, no songs. What WTF? Yeah, like seriously, how dare they? It's Cinderella. How can there be no songs in Cinderella? I'm sorry. It was such a bad movie. Like I get these remakes, but you don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So everyone, that's my opinion on Cinderella. And then Daniel saying good afternoon, La Familia, one love to you, Daniel. Um, And then David saying plastic slipper to Ben. Yeah, where the hell is the glass? Um, and then LTL saying, Stardust to Daniel, our chef from Bolivia. And then everyone saying hi to Daniel. Um, and then David saying Solomon needs backing. I haven't. Chang has already said that about Solomon. I'm honestly, I'm not going to make up my mind about Solomon. I got to see him in more games. Like the Burnley game is not enough for me. I'd like to see him get a run of 5 6 games. Um, Either coming off the bench or playing. I don't think he should start, but coming off the bench. Um, and I'd like to see what he does with the opportunity that he gets. He also, let's not forget, he's coming back after a long injury, and we know what long injuries do to players. So he may not be even the player he was before he was injured. So we don't really know what to do with him yet. Um, so so let's just wait on the Solomon thing. And Lee saying, Benji, screw Cinderella. You're not going to back Richie. Yeah, let the two agenda sons fight it out. Um, and Tomak is saying this is the first time visit to this channel. Wonderful vibes, great football knowledge from both of you. Big up to you and thanks for your work. Much respect. Thank you so much, Potomac. We try our best, especially Trang. Trang tries his best. I just wing it most days. And I hope that like my ineptitude is taking care of my Chang's expertise. And then LTL is saying, show your support for Ash and Chang. We from Asia Show by hitting the like button. It all helps. Thank you in advance, and thanks for taking time out to chill with these two lovely people in the community. Absolutely, everyone, hit that, smash that like for El Del Cockerel, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so. Everyone, uh, also remember to subscribe to Spursvasion TV. That's where you can find Chang. Wait, let me find the link again. I did show it to you earlier. Until then, Chang, where can we find you next?
The next time I would be live would maybe be with Eugene on Persuasion TV, as you just mentioned. Other than that, I would predominantly appear maybe on Talk and Ball if there are any upcoming shows in which Senor Garcia or Mr. Sievers would like to have me on. I was supposed to appear on Tuesday. No, not Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. It was Monday. I was supposed to appear at Monday at 4 p.m. With Mr. Sievers, UK time, that is 4 p.m. UK time on Talk and Ball, but unfortunately it was midnight that Monday here in Malaysia, so I wasn't able to appear. But I did make up for that during the members show this morning. So whenever I'm doing a show with Eugene here on Spurs Between the Lines, I will inform everybody on social media and also on the Talk and Ball group. Other than that, I have nothing on really other than what we're doing right here, right now on the Asian Talkover together, Miss Ash. So yeah, it's just this Asian takeover and also occasional appearances, co-hosting with Eugene on Spurs Vision TV.
So everyone, go make sure you go to Persuasion TV and make sure you catch us here. We do this every Wednesday at the same time, every Wednesday, like clockwork. We're here for you. So tune in for that. And on Friday, I do a show with Ellie. That's also awesome. And all of the Talking Ball and El Tel Cockerel shows, make sure you catch all of them. So this is me saying goodbye. It was a great show. It's always a great show when Chang's around. um and I gotta say, I love that y'all are still at this. Bye, Ben. I will see you later. Have a happy lunchtime. And yeah, as usual, we sign off with the James Madison song. That's if I can find it. There we go.
My team has got James Madison. James Madison is what we need. Whoa, thank God we got James Madison. This kid plays ball like you would never